Welcome to our virtual Ithaca College campus, hosted by the Center for Creative Technology. This world was created for AltSpace VR, a program we used for a pilot project with Assistant Professor Christine Havenshafer to complement her work in the Education Department. For this project, the CCT mailed out VR headsets to each student in the class. Meeting in AltSpace, we ran instructional classes, collaborated with and empowered the students to develop lesson plans that could be taught in VR.
The Center for Creative Technology, also known as the CCT, is the center location on Ithaca College's campus for all creators, faculty, staff, and students to develop projects using the variety of tools and educational resources we offer. One of those resources being virtual reality and immersive technology. That's where we come in. We are the IC Immersive team for the CCT.
This is our first world, created by the CCT after consulting with a pair of education students who wanted to give a class inspired by Henry David Thoreau's work. Next, you'll see a few clips taken from the students' lesson. Note, this is taken from a first-person perspective, so there is a change in aspect ratio.
Now that we're here and we have the chance to sort of be in this space and look around, let's take a moment to recap on transcendentalism. Is there anybody who can tell me what transcendentalism was? What kind of movement was it? This is modeled after the real thing. And also there's the likely possibility that he created all of his chairs and furniture out of wood that he carved himself. So this whole area is sort of centered around the idea of self-reliance that is the center of transcendentalism as a philosophy.
The fact that you embraced Walden, the Walden Pond aesthetic as part of, which was such a huge inspiration to him. So to have that be something the kids go into where they can actually appreciate it. And think about if you're teaching this class in a city school, for example, where kids don't go in nature often, to be able to give them that opportunity, to have that opportunity to really feel, while you have the quotes up there saying how he felt looking at nature, what it made him and how it inspired him, and have the kids in that setting.
This is our second world, where students acted as Congress panelists and debated the future of the United States in the 70s, just before the second draft of the Vietnam War. Notice how engaged and passionate they are about their respective arguments.
Just to go off what my fellow congressman to my left has said, clearly we need to win this war, not just because we're competing against Russia, but we also have to consider, the pride of America.
Thank you. We will now be inviting the anti-draft group up to the stage. Can the pro-draft group please take a seat in the Congress chambers?
Yeah, so I don't think we should have the draft because, as statistics have shown, 25% of our military has been drafted. And can we really trust 25% of people in our military who don't want to be in the war as it is to really fight for our country and do us honor? I don't think so.
In this last clip, you'll see our third world, meant to emulate the respective locations of Mexico and Peru. The students that taught this lesson built this world themselves with the guidance of the CCT. During their lesson, they acted as tour guides in these environments to teach the inner workings of the Aztec and Incan culture.
If everyone could gather right here by this cactus, and we can begin our tour.
Follow me into this cave over here. We're going to have to be a little bit more like single file for this section just because we're going to be climbing mountains. Be a little cautious because this is where the terrain gets a little bit harder to manage. So it's important to remember that the Incas were traveling around these mountain pathways pretty much all day. And these mountain pathways were actually something that they constructed on their own. It was this incredibly massive process of building roads to get from place to place. So we've just crossed a bridge, which is another important aspect of the Incans because they needed to build these bridges to connect all their cities together. These bridges were funded by the Incan government and the Incan state, and they actually were using these bridges as a way of life.
I wish I'd had this opportunity to do something like this with my students. It makes it just feel alive.
And that's our tour of a few of the worlds we made using AltSpace VR. We are continuing to work with different professors in a variety of areas to incorporate immersive technology into the classroom.
We are also continuing to further develop this virtual campus you see here. We are very happy to have the chance to share our work here, so thank you very much for watching.